Task Factory is a suite of SSIS components available from Pragmatic Works. In this video, we'll look at the Update Batch transform. Updating data can be a real pain. You either have to set up a special staging table in your database, then update from it, or use the slower OLEDB command. In this video, we'll look at a better solution, Task Factory's Update Batch transform. For this demonstration, I've set up two tables. The first is my source, the second is the destination. Here in the source, you can see I've got two columns, big number and big number format. Big number is just an integer, and the number format is the word row, followed by that integer nicely formatted out. In my target table, I have three columns. In addition to the big number and the big number format, I have an inserted date column, which is the date that this record was inserted. In the big number format column, I actually have the words update me in front of the row and the number. And finally note that I only have 5,000 rows in this table, whereas my source table has 10,000 rows. So let's jump back to our package. And what you're seeing is a traditional design pattern for updating data. I've got my update, and here I've got the columns for the big number and the big number format. I then need to see if the record is there. There's my connection, and that goes against the target. And there's my columns. Now you'll note I'm not returning any data. I don't really care about bringing data back. I just want to know if the record's there or not. Click on OK. Now, down the no match, I have a little piece of additional logic that I don't want on the update, to where I add an inserted date in a derived column transformation. There you go, and I'm just pulling in get date into a column called inserted date. And then I go insert my new rows, and in the mappings, I just map all these out. Now for an update, we don't want to update the inserted date, so our logic's going to flow here. And in this example, I've got it flowing out to a rather slow OLEDB command. I could also have selected to output this to a staging table, and then turn around and have an execute SQL statement that will update it from staging to my target table. The problem with either of those approaches is the OLEDB command is slow, and the staging table requires me a lot of extra work to set up temporary staging tables. But we can do this in a better way. Let's delete this, and instead we're going to come over here, and yes, you guessed it, we're going to pull in the Update Batch transform. We'll drop it here, and make it just a little bigger. And we're going to drag our output for the lookup match output to our batch transform. Alright, let's open up the Task Factory Update Batch transform. And we're going to start by picking our connection manager, and we'll use that one. The table we're going to update is our destination. And here we go. We've got our input columns and our destination columns. I have to pick one of these to be the key to do the matching on, so we'll pick big number. And you may wonder where the inserted date column is. Well, we have no input column here called inserted date, so it matched up on the names as best it could. We'll click on OK. And there we go. Now I can run this, and you'll see that our update batches run extremely fast. And there we go. It's run. I can stop this. Let's go back now and look at our target tables. If I run this again, you can see I still have my original rows down here, but what we're really interested in is this bottom. And you can see my big number format is now correctly set to row. My inserted date was not changed. If I scroll down here though, and there we go. Here we are at 5,000. When we hit 5001, notice we have a new inserted date, and we're inserting our records. So using the update batch, we were able to update this very quickly. So now one question that comes up sometimes when I'm demonstrating this is, well, why wouldn't I just use the upsert task, which you've talked about in a previous video? Well, the upsert's great if I'm updating a common set of columns. In this case, I've actually got two different logic branches. For inserts, we're going to have additional logic to add a column and then insert it. For the updates, we've got a column that we're not going to update. Therefore, we have to have two different output branches and two different operations, one for doing inserts and one for doing updates. The update batch transform makes it extremely easy to update your target tables without the additional overhead of a staging table or without having to use the extremely slow OLEDB command. To learn more about the update batch transform or any of the other components within Task Factory, please visit us at pragmaticworks.com.